Invite our first speaker, Angela Harrison, who's the National Community Engagement and Events Manager for CareFlight. CareFlight is a top-rated charity in Australia with a $100 million revenue budget and has cared for over 6,500 Australians in 2019. No formal fundraising education, Angela has raised millions of dollars for charity through a heart and passion for community. And Angela has some amazing stories to tell, and we share how CareFlight plays a vitally important role in our community. Please welcome Angela.
Thank you, David. I just want to echo David's sentiments around the sponsors and the venue here this morning. It doesn't happen without our sponsors, so a huge thank you to you for making it happen and for allowing me to come along and share about our organisation, CareFlight. I'm just sitting here next to Melissa, and the first thing she says to me is, oh, how come you're here in terms of who you are with CareFlight? And it's because we are your aeromedical organisation here in the Shire, and not too many people know that. So if there's one thing I can leave you with today, is to know that CareFlight is here for every single one of you in terms of who we are. And so I get 10 minutes to talk about CareFlight as an organisation and its direct impact here in the Shire, but in broader Sydney as well. To probably frame that up best, I've actually got a video to start with. It only goes for just a minute and a half. It'll put some context around who we are and what we're doing here and what we've been providing as an organisation into Sydney for the last 34 years. This is actually about 4 years old, so some of the stats and facts are a little bit outdated. David, you said 6,500 missions. It's actually about 9,000 missions that were completed in 2019.
In Wentworth, a fallen tree has trapped a man.
Down.
CareFlight comes to the rescue. They've been doing this for 3 decades. CareFlight started with one single-engine squirrel.
CareFlight was an aviation evolution. It was a medical revolution.
In its 30 years, CareFlight has carried 50,000 patients. It now treats 5,000 a year on board a 12-strong fleet of choppers and planes. They also provide realistic trauma training for medicos from around the world.
Move right out of the way. Move right out of the way.
When the helicopter lands, the crew is thrust into the organised chaos of a trauma scene. The patient gets specialist intensive care. 30 years ago, they'd have to wait until they got to hospital, and in many cases, that would be the difference between life and death. Simon Gasper is a frequent flyer. His first flight was after a head-on with a truck on the F3 in 2001.
It collided with 4 cars, their drivers taken to hospital.
10 years later, he crashed his motorbike.
Yeah, I'm very grateful. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be standing here at all. I would be twice dead.
An airline no one wants to fly until they have to. Damien Smith, 7 News.
So basically we provide trauma care on scene. So we've got a rapid response aircraft that sits out of our Westmead hospital on base there. And that call comes in, and within 60 seconds I'm sitting at my desk and I put my timer on to see how quick they respond to a scene, and it's literally within 60 seconds the pilot's in there starting up. Now on board we have our pilots, the most highly skilled in the country, so they have a minimum of 3,000 hours before they are even considered for a role with CareFlight. We have an air crewman who secures all of that information. And then we have a doctor. So that doctor may have a specialist role, and that specialist role in this particular case I'm about to talk about, she's an emergency doctor, so she's trained for 15 years before she's even allowed on the aircraft. So what they do is they come to us as registrars and we teach them how to work in the confines of a helicopter, and our helicopter is actually fitted the same as what you'd find in an emergency department. So it's an intensive care unit that flies in the air. And then to support that role, we have an intensive care paramedic. Now those paramedics, again, are the highest qualified and trained specialists in their field. So they're not like our paramedics on the road. They've got special concessions to be able to apply incredible treatment. So they virtually know exactly what our doctors know. So I went to our doctor on Monday and I said, I've got a presentation over in the Shire and I would love an opportunity to talk about a little boy. Now I heard about this little boy, Cooper, and I said, where's he from? And she said, Sylvania. So in just over 12 months ago, Cooper, 9 years old, he was at a dance studio here in Sylvania and he literally was doing a one-handed cartwheel and he had a cardiac arrest. How does a 9-year-old have a cardiac arrest? So he stops breathing. He's on the ground and his teacher, thank goodness, had first aid under her belt. And so she started to apply that first aid literally on scene. So this is Cooper up here. So without a heartbeat and without oxygen, you're bound to obviously experience some level of brain damage. So she started that situation. She rang 000. We had an ambulance actually arrive on the scene, but we were literally tasked, and within 13 minutes we had landed here in Shire with that specialist doctor. Now this little boy had vomited at this particular time and we were able to provide life-saving measures, and that was to intubate him. Now our paramedics on our road ambulances aren't able to do that. So to be able to intubate him, to able to secure him as a patient and to get him to hospital as swiftly as we could. And that's what we did that day for little Cooper. And little Cooper was diagnosed with a very rare condition where he now today has a defibrillator and he's been able to put defibrillators into school through his message. And by being here to tell his story, and his family know for certain that without CareFlight and without our rapid response aircraft that young man may not have been with us today. So I'm really delighted to be able to share that Cooper's an amazing young man who has survived, and I give every respect to our emergency and medical services for that to have actually been able to happen. So Cooper's come back in and he's shared that story with our doctors, and he obviously doesn't remember anything, but really what I want to tell you about today is CareFlight has been here serving our community now for 34 years. We don't take for granted one little minute. We are your aeromedical organisation. We have been for that entire time, and as I said to David just a moment ago to qualify, we've conducted about 9,000 missions, and when it doesn't discriminate. It can turn up in any single person's life at any time, and I can vouch for that because I have a nephew who was involved in a very serious car accident, and if it wasn't for a chopper to be available with that experienced team, he actually wouldn't have made it. There was another young man in that accident that didn't make it that day, and that affects us far and wide. And I'm sure that if I ask for a show of hands, has anyone been indirectly had that experience with someone? It's a job. That someone in the room would be able to put their hand up and say we've actually had to have a chopper come in and provide that life-saving rescue. So some really amazing news. This year we were actually announced as Australia's most trusted charity. So we hold every level of pride around that announcement, and that just happened at the back of last year, which is exciting. We literally cover 5.4 million residents here in Sydney. So we are Sydney's rapid response aircraft. We're a secondary aircraft, so there is another aircraft in Sydney that obviously provides support. It takes 20 minutes for that activation to happen. So when you're lying roadside and you've been involved in whatever that incident may be, whether it's cardiac, whether it's an accident. I had a lady just recently struck in the head by lightning, and we were able to get to her in about 4 minutes, which was pretty amazing. So 4 minutes to start up and 4 minutes to get to her. And it was a difference between life and death. And I shared just very briefly with Joel earlier, this week alone we had a young man who was out, who was enjoying life, and that's what they do at 23. He was on his motorbike, he was on his property, and he had an incident, and unfortunately by the time our team arrived, we started to work on him. but he actually didn't make it. And his dad arrived, and his dad, in all the trauma and chaos of his son passing away, he had a heart attack. I know, you wouldn't read about it. But we were there and we were able to help him and we were able to provide those life-saving measures. And so he's in intensive care this week back in CareFlight. And we were there and we were able to provide that life-saving measure. So more than 60,000 patients we have obviously provided life-saving measures to. I said to Joel, when we talk about an individual, it's not just an individual, it's a family that's affected. It's a mother, it's a father, it's an aunt, it's an uncle, and it's far wide-reaching in terms of the direct impact that it has on the community. As I said, our doctors are the most highest trained in the world, and with most of the aircraft here in Australia, it is a CareFlight doctor that's on there. And we bring them in and we train them. We offer an incredible program called Medicine, and Medicine is where we actually train in trauma care to be able to triage a situation. So with the fires that we experienced recently here in Australia, the majority of those SES volunteers we train around what it means to respond. So any vision and footage that was infrared on television was actually CareFlight vision that we were capturing for RFS. Those were our pilots up there dropping into hot zones and helping them to deliver emergency services to our nation. So I just want to say thank you so much. If there is anything we can take away today, it's who we are as an organisation, that we're here for you 24/7. We don't shut down in terms of the year. Christmas Day, I had the pleasure of going out and joining our crew for Christmas morning and taking them out from goodies to